On my quest to explore some of Austria's biodiversity this year, I've found some really beautiful places, but none have felt quite as wild as here in the Gesäuse National Park in Styria.
The Gesäuse is a place of rushing water and steep cliffs. It was once severely logged to feed the nearby iron ore processing industry, but over the past 100 years much of it was left alone because of the very difficult steep terrain, and then protection was formalised when the area was made a national park in the year 2002. Conservationist and nature photographer Matthias Schickhofer holds regular photo classes in the deep and steep forests.
Well, we're here in a dramatic gorge in Gesäuse National Park, and it's one of the last remains of wild forests. If you look up these steep slopes here, there's lots of little stands where never ever any man has made its way up and to cut a tree because it was simply inaccessible. And this is kind of a vertical wilderness, what we can see here. So it's one of the last refuge areas of a lot of rare species, and we have great luck because it's a foggy day. There was a little bit rain before, which means that the colors are great now, and we have all these mists, which is making this valley to be something like Avalon or something like that. So I feel like in a fantasy movie. It's a great experience.
Although the very steepness of the terrain has meant that much of the area would have been left alone anyway, Ranger Andreas Hollinger says the establishment of the park back in 2002 was really important.
Ja, seit es den Nationalpark gibt, hat sich das Wissen über die Artenvielfalt im Nationalpark Gesäuse verdreifacht. Ganz klar, wenn man forscht, wenn man wo genau hinschaut, dann entdeckt man das eine oder andere. Mittlerweile haben wir über 200 endemische Arten, die es weltweit nur hier gibt, entdeckt, darunter auch weltweite Neuentdeckungen.
This autumn, as I looked at Austria's biodiversity, a very worrying EU report was published, the State of Nature report, which comes out every 5 years. It said that only a quarter of species have good conservation status in Europe, and that 80% of key habitats on the continent are in a poor condition. We are in the midst of a biodiversity crisis, linked to and equally as terrifying as the climate crisis. And Matthias says it's no point just pointing the finger of blame elsewhere to the tropics.
In Europe, most of the forests and most of the wild areas have been degraded, have been managed, and also a lot of nature has been destroyed, which means that the situation as we have at the moment is really bad. 80% of the ecosystems are in a very bad shape. Lots of European politicians say Amazon should be saved, Brazil should not log the forest. Yes, true. But at the same time, we also need to do our homework. We need to protect our old growth and primary forests as well, like the forest here in this valley. These are the last havens for a lot of species which are almost extinct in Europe, and they have a right to live, and we have to protect them. As simple as that.